You're watching Newstainment Television.
Kenisha, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you for having me on your show.
सबसे पहला बताना कि what is जुनून?
Junoon is my first original song. Sorry to give you such an obvious answer, but it's my first original song in the world of music. And the concept of this song is basically, it's a love ballad. So the concept of this song is anybody that you have truly loved, जुनून की हद तक आपने अगर किसी को प्यार किया हो और उसके लिए आपका क्या इमोशन होता है, what's the sentiment that you feel for something, someone, whether it's your lover, it's your parent, your pet, your sibling, or it's something that is related to a passion, maybe fitness, maybe whatever, that you love so deeply, and what is the sentiment that comes to your mind when you love something so deeply. So this is a description in a musical format of that sentiment.
How did the idea came about? I mean, to have this kind of song.
Yeah, so basically I had lost my grandfather, and he's somebody that I love the most in the world, and it was very difficult for me to process with that loss. I don't think I still have actually, to be honest, and so when the grief is extreme, I think it finds different ways of release, just manifests in different ways. And then I remember listening to a lot of Phil Collins at the time, very, very dark, depressing songs of course he's a legend, Phil Collins, and I love his music, but I was listening to the darkest songs of Phil Collins, and one of them I was listening to was If Leaving Me Is Easy, then Coming Back Is Harder, then I was listening to In the Air Tonight on loop, and In the Air Tonight, it became so much that I don't know, it used to keep ringing in my head all the time, that drums crescendo and that all that. And so this tune, literally one night I slept and this tune happened to me in my sleep, and I woke up and I just hastily, I very quickly recorded it on my phone, the phone recorder, and that's how the tune, the melody was conceived. And then because the only thing on my mind for a very long time was my grandfather's memories, and still today, so the lyrical content also came out naturally, and it just kind of happened very organically, I never thought of it as a love song. To me, this is a tribute to my grandfather, but I did realize that to the listener it may seem like a like a lover to a lover. But honestly, I'm very pleasantly surprised that my audio just released last week, and it's been doing really well. We've got more than 1,000 reels, and I was very happy to see that there are people who are making reels, like mothers making reels for their toddlers on my song. Then there are a lot of dancers, of course, because the music production is very up-tempo and modern. So that I was expecting somewhere. But now I've started getting reels of people who are parkour, parkour athletes. And then today I got a reel of somebody using this song for their pet cat. So I was like, thank God, because this is the intention that I had in my mind for my song in any case. I didn't want it to become like one big, Romeo and Juliet affair. It's a love song for anybody who's loved anybody, and I'm so happy that it's translating as that.
Love is universal, it can be for anyone.
Yes, absolutely.
So, I mean, you seem to be a very emotional person. I mean, आपके persona से लगता नहीं कि emotional हो गया आप इतने.
I'm very emotional about my family, yes. I'm very emotional about certain causes like stray animals. I'm very, very emotional about. And certain things I'm emotional about, I'm generally not a very emotional person. I'm quite stoic, and I just am very, to myself and whatnot. But of course, with my family, with my selective friends, I have a very chosen circle. It's a small circle of friends I have had, and they've been my friends for years. I'm very possessive and emotional for them. My family, of course, is number one, and I'm emotional about music. If there's a good piece of music, so many times I've listened to like a nice, beautiful, Chopin, or if I'm listening to any sort of a great, work of music or a piano piece or instrumental, whatnot, then it does move me. I do start crying a lot, and I don't know why it is the way it is. Like, how can you be emotional about anything other than a human being or an animal or a sentient being? But yeah, you can be, because it's just whatever stirs your soul, I think, is like your weakness, So I don't have a lot of weaknesses, but there are a few. But those weaknesses are quite, they can make me very weak,
I understand. But tell me something, I'm watching you, you're a very glamorous woman.
Thank you.
So do you think that लोग शायद आपको इतना सीरियसली न लेते हो?
हाँ, ऐसा बहुत बार हुआ है. बट देन अगेन यू नो आपको आई गेस हर चीज़ के दो नज़रिए होते हैं ना, या तो अब मैं उस चीज़ को लेके रोती रहूँ या फिर मैं उसके विद इन यू नो एक अपॉर्चुनिटी को देखूँ और उसका पॉजिटिव एस्पेक्ट देखूँ. ऐसे भी तो कितने लोग हैं जिनको कोई नोटिस ही नहीं करता होगा. सो यू नो इफ वी ऑलवेज कीप सीइंग कि ओ दिस इज यार ये ऐसे हो रहा है, बट देन देयर कुड बी अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल हु वुड you know give their right arm for being known as glamorous or at least being seen or being noticed. So you have to always look at the positive aspect of something, because what you might look at as something that you're averse to or trying to avoid, maybe that's a aspiration for someone else, you know. So I don't have any qualms about people looking at me at a certain way or whatever, because I know eventually when they look at my acting performances, when they see my music and all, they do convert into genuine appreciators. They do convert into a very engaged and a and a genuinely supportive audience. So it's okay. Whatever is the point of start need not be the point of end, right? Anything that gets people involved on your journey, that's a plus point only. If it's your glamour, if it's your looks, if it's your voice, if it's your whatever can get them involved in your journey, that's the bigger picture, you know. Yeah.
It's, beauty is skin deep.
Yeah, beauty is absolutely skin deep and very subjective also. Like what's beautiful to one person may not be beautiful to someone else, you know. And it's a very transient concept, you know. Beauty also changes so much with your weight gain, with your this, that and age and whatnot. So I would never suggest anybody to kind of rely on it. I've seen a lot of people on social media जो थोड़े ढंग के दिखते हैं, and then the kind of air you can see in their pictures only, like, and that's kind of like I just feel sorry for them.
Well, what is your biggest scare? That
Losing my family.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do you see आपके जो पुराने काम किए हैं आपने, चाहे मस्तराम हो या सीरीज हो, वेब सीरीज हो वगैरह, how do you see them now?
एक्चुअली इनिशियली तो मतलब मुझे अभी काफ़ी कुछ एक सरियल लगने लगा है, बिकॉज यू नो आज से हार्डली 3 साल पहले मैं यहाँ पे आराम नगर और माडा में मतलब ऐड के ऑडिशंस देती थी, लाइक यू नो. एंड मुझे ये भी नहीं पता था कि भाई ये ऐड भी मिलेगा कि नहीं, यू नो. एंड ऐड इज़ शॉर्ट फॉर्मेट. ऐड में आके आप सोचोगे कि आपको एकदम से कोई नोटिस कर लेगा, ऐसा अक्सर मैंने होते देखा नहीं है, यू नो. इवन लोग जो 100 एड्स करके बैठे हैं, मैंने खास मतलब उनका ट्रैजेक्टरी बाद में देखी नहीं है उस तरह से. बट अब वही एक जरिया था, तो यू नो आप करोगे तो सही स्ट्रगल. एंड देन वहाँ से कई बार मेरे को अभी भी यू नो आई रिमेंबर the color of those walls in those studios and a particular smell, you know, and I remember कि मैं क्या कर रही हूँ यार, how is this going to work out, this is not making sense, because जब 3-4 घंटे हो गए, आपका एक लाइन बोलनी है आपको, हाँ ऑडिशन में. एड ऑडिशंस तो आपको पता है स्क्रिप्ट कैसी, मतलब 2-3 लाइन और ये आपने यूज़ किया और इससे हो गया, यू नो. वो 2 लाइन्स बोलने के लिए आप 4 घंटे 5 घंटे जब ऐसे करके वेट कर रहे होते हैं ना, तो आप क्वेश्चन करने लगते हो कि कैसे होगा ये, मतलब लॉज. सो योर अदर माइंड इज लाइक, केनिशा, आर यू really telling me that this is going to turn you into a celebrity? How is this going to work out? But and then on certain days that other voice gets very loud. It's the voice of reasoning, right? And then I just don't know, पता नहीं, मुझे फिर एक ऐसा दौर हुआ था कि जब मुझे लगने लगा था कि नहीं अब होने ही वाली है चीज़, अब बस होने ही वाली है, यू नो. एंड ऐसा कुछ हो रहा नहीं था लाइफ में, अभी भी शॉर्ट लिस्ट होकर रिजेक्शन हो ही रहा था. सो मुझे होने ही वाली है. बट आई रिमेंबर आई वॉज ड्राइविंग एंड बॉन जो 7 बंगलोज का है, वहाँ से मैं ऐसे ड्राइव करके जा रही थी और मेरे को एकदम से ऐसा कुछ थॉट आया कि बस चीज़ें हो गई है यार, आई कैन फील इट, आ चुकी है चीज़ें. एंड देन माई एनालिटिकल माइंड केम इन, चीज़ें कहाँ से आ गई यार, हाउ इज दिस गोइंग टू वर्क आउट, यू आर गेटिंग रिजेक्टेड, यू जस्ट गॉट अ कॉल दैट रिलीज योर डेट्स फॉर दैट एड, सो हाउ इज इट गोइंग टू वर्क आउट. एंड आई वाज लाइक नहीं बस मेरे को फील हो रहा है, थिंग्स आर गोइंग टू वर्क आउट. एंड सून आफ्टर दैट, यू नो, हसमुख एक्चुअली जो मेरा पहला वेब शो था नेटफ्लिक्स पे, मैंने 2019 में पाया था, लेकिन उसको शूट करने में तकरीबन 1.5 साल हो गया, क्योंकि दैट टाइम वीरदास वाज इन प्राग एंड ही वाज डूइंग एन इंटरनेशनल शो. एंड तो 1.5 साल जब हो जाता है और आप बीच बीच में शूट कर रहे हो, तो आपकी ना एंग्जाइटी वगैरह फेज ऑफ हो जाती है. आपको लगता है कि पता नहीं यार जो भी होगा, क्योंकि आप मसरूफ हो जाते हो ना अपने दूसरे स्ट्रगल में. तो एकदम से फिर हसमुख का मैं कर रही थी, तो एकदम से हसमुख रिलीज भी नहीं हुआ था, तब एकदम से मुझे दिसंबर के महीने में मस्तराम और रक्तांचल दोनों बैक टू बैक एक ही मंथ में मिल गए. तो मैंने कहा अरे वाह यार ये तो अच्छा हो गया, अभी एक और शो आएगा तो अभी 2 आ जाएंगे तो कहीं पे तो मैं नोटिस हो जाऊंगी. It's like कोई तो भी नोटिस करेगा, कोई तो इन तीनों शोज में से एक तो हिट हो ही जाएगा, मेरा अच्छा हो जाएगा, कुछ ना कुछ हो जाएगा, यू नो. अच्छा मतलब मैंने सोचा था कि कुछ नोटिस हो जाऊंगी थोड़ा बहुत, ऐसा तो नहीं जैसा हुआ. एंड देन एकदम से फिर लॉकडाउन आ गया तो मैंने कहा पता नहीं यार अब क्या होगा, क्योंकि मैं एज अ लाइव एंकर करती थी काम. आई यूज्ड टू डू अ लॉट ऑफ लाइव इवेंट्स, यू नो, एंड आई यूज्ड टू ट्रैवल अ लॉट एंड ऑल्सो. So you are so busy with your work and all. I've always been busy क्योंकि अगर मैं खाली बैठूंगी ना तो I'll go mad with the anticipation and then the anxiety that comes with the anticipation and all. And I know that that's strictly avoidable. You know, after you've done your best, you have to let it go because you cannot keep on obsessing about it. It's not going to help the cause. It's not going to help anything, and your health is going to suffer, and you're not going to even persist for your next. एक point तक yeah, you give your 100%, and then at one point you have to let it go. So हसमुख का ऑलमोस्ट मेरे मतलब जहन से मेरे उतर ही गई थी वो चीज़, क्योंकि इतना अरसा हो गया था. एंड सडनली कोविड के एकदम लॉकडाउन लगती है, मेरे को एक बार कॉल आया, हसमुख इज रिलीजिंग टुमारो, हसमुख इज रिलीजिंग टुमारो. अब मेरे को एकदम एंग्जाइटी होने लगे क्योंकि ये तो मेरे मतलब माइंड में कहीं था ही नहीं ना. सो देन आई स्टार्टेड कॉलिंग माय फ्रेंड्स हु आर नॉट फ्रॉम द इंडस्ट्री एंड आई वाज लाइक गाइस यू रिमेंबर आई टोल्ड यू ऑल आई एम डूइंग अ वेब शो, इट्स कमिंग आउट टुमारो गाइस ऑन नेटफ्लिक्स. So they're like, oh wow, that's great, that's awesome. and then बहुत डर के मैंने वो पोस्ट डाली. I was like, अरे बाप रे मेरा एक वेब शो आ रहा है ये वो and everything. And then I remember वो टाइम मेरे को एंग्जाइटी हुई थी. The whole night I couldn't sleep. I had so many things going in my head, and mostly things like कि what if मैं notice ही नहीं हुई, because the role was not a very dialogue heavy role. It was a very glamorous character, but it was, and the presence was great. It was there in 7 to 8 episodes out of 10, but it was not a very dialogue. ऐसा कोई खास आर्क नहीं था उसका, कोई मैं वाकिन फिनिक्स वाला कुछ ऐसा कर नहीं रही थी, you know. So I was like पता नहीं यार क्या होगा, will people think I'm just there as a showpiece, will बहुत ज़्यादा anxiety. इतनी कि सुबह तक आई वॉज इन अ नर्वस ब्रेकडाउन, आई वॉज क्राइंग एंड हाउलिंग. एंड देन हसमुख रिलीज हो गया तो मेरे को कुछ रियलाइज नहीं हुआ. मुझे कुछ, मेरा पहला वेब शो, मुझे क्या पता शाम को भी देखो मेरा मतलब हार्डली 20-30,000 का अकाउंट, मैं देखो लाइन से मतलब फॉलोइंग कि कुछ तो भी अलग हो गया है क्या, ये कितने लोग एकदम से क्यों फॉलो कर रहे हैं मुझे. फिर मैं डीएम्स में गई तो मतलब एक प्लेथोरा ऑफ मैसेजेस वर देयर एंड आई वाज लाइक व्हाट, ये क्या हो गया यार, क्या ये मेरा नोटिस हो गया क्या रोल. सो आई थिंक noticed or what, you know, and that was the first time, that's the most special. तो मुझे याद है कि मैं 36 hours मैंने वो देखना शुरू किया. 36 hours I was just online seeing each and every single message, और मैं उसका स्क्रीनशॉट करके वापस डाल रही थी अपनी स्टोरीज पे. इट वाज द थ्रिल ऑफ दैट फर्स्ट टाइम, यू नो, रिकग्निशन. एंड जो मेरा पहला मीम आया था रोमा के कैरेक्टर का विद रवि किशन एंड ऑल दैट, आई मीन वो फर्स्ट टाइम जो मतलब होता है ना, वो ऐसा मुझे लग गया था मीम, मुझे लगने लगा पता नहीं मुझे ऑस्कर, मेरा पहला मीम आया. सो आई काइंड ऑफ लाइक रीपोस्टेड दैट एंड एवरीथिंग, एंड देन माय अकाउंट वेंट अप टू 150,000 फॉलोअर्स एंड आई वाज लाइक ये तो कमाल हो गया, चमत्कार हो गया ये वो. और उसके बाद व्हेन मस्तराम केम देन तो कुछ अनबिलीवेबल हो गया. आई डोंट नो क्या ही हो गया फिर तो. एंड दैट वाज अनबिलीवेबल because it's not like I was just in one episode, you know, and even in Raktanchal, so it's a miracle. I look at it as a miracle. If you have virality in 4 projects out of probably 6 that you've done in the last 2.5 years, then that is a miracle. And then I got grind, and that again became viral. So I was like, पता नहीं क्या हो रहा है, you know, whatever is happening. फिर देन मैं आई एम सच अ काइंड ऑफ पर्सन ना, जैसे कुछ अच्छा हो रहा होगा ना तो मैं ज़्यादा आई डोंट स्टार्ट ट्रिपिंग ऑन एनीथिंग, नॉट ऑन एनीथिंग नेगेटिव, नॉट ऑन एनीथिंग पॉजिटिव. सो आई वाज लाइक कि भाई जो भी हो रहा है बहुत अच्छा हो रहा है, अभी चलो यू नो लेट्स काइंड ऑफ यू नो स्टे रेलिवेंट एंड लेट्स काइंड ऑफ वर्क हार्डर नाउ. क्योंकि ऐसा होता है ना कि कई बार आप एकदम से वायरल एंड ऑल हो जाओ और आपकी फॉलोइंग बढ़ जाए, तो कई आर्टिस्ट में मैंने देखा है हो सकता है कि कंप्लेसेंसी आ जा सकती होगी कि नाउ आई हैव अराइव्ड यार, अब मैं बन गई कुछ, you know. But that's a myth, ना. You never arrived in an industry like this. You have never really arrived. Nobody ever arrives. So when things are going your way, you have to work harder, in my opinion, because then the pressure and the fear of losing it all is even more grave, because now there are eyeballs looking at you. Now there are more people who are judging you, who are looking at you and are aware that you are such and such and that you exist, and suddenly you're not anonymous anymore, right? So I look at it as a double-edged sword, which is what it is. You know, if things are going your way, it's your cue to work harder. If things are not going your way, obviously you need to work harder.
How did Good Bad Girl happen?
Good Bad Girl happened. I got a call from anti-casting one day, and they sent me this character brief, and I quite liked it. I was like, wow, yaar, comedy karne ko milega, you know. It's something that I quite enjoy, and usually, so it's quite funny that I'm a very serious person at the crux of my being, but I have a very wicked sense of humor, and most people in my company are always laughing. I can crack up anybody, and I was like, wow, let's play out that comical side through this character. And then I was insisting that I have to come down to your studio and give this audition, because मेरे को ना वैसा होता है थोड़ा सा, मतलब I feel कि each and every prop and each and every setting also can make a difference. And this character meant a lot to me because I wanted to be part of this project. It was created by Vikas Bell, and I just really wanted to get it. मतलब call आ गई तो मेरे को ऐसा था ये नहीं जाने देना यार, कुछ भी हो जाए, So then I went, and then they really liked my audition, and they called me for a second round, and it was a detailed audition. I think my audition took about 3 to 4 hours.
Oh.
Yes, it did, because the whole Punjabi dialect I had prepared it a lot, और मैंने पहले बहुत ही ज़्यादा ठेठ prepare करके, मतलब वो पूरी वैसी वाली मैं तो बोलने लग गई तो फिर वो लोग कह रहे हैं बाप रे, तो किसी को समझ ही नहीं आएगा, because I had done like a whole research on, मतलब मैं पंजाबी ही बोलने लग गई. So they were like नहीं पंजाबी का सिर्फ लहजा चाहिए and all that and all. तो फिर मेरे को rework करना पड़ा, क्योंकि मैं तो पूरा ठेठ पिंड वाले एक्सेंट में लर्न करके गई थी. पूरा 2 पेज का ऑडिशन था वो. इट वाज अ मोनोलॉग. सो देन आई रीवर्कड इट, और फिर वो थोड़ा ड्रॉप किया वो जो डायलेक्ट था, काफ़ी उसको टोन डाउन किया 50% एंड ऑल्सो अनलर्निंग इज ऑलवेज हार्डर देन लर्निंग सो टू अनलर्न दैट वाज डिफिकल्ट. एंड देन फाइनली वो एक सीन का हुआ शूट वगैरह. देन दे वांटेड टू ऑल्सो टेस्ट में कि मैं दूसरे सीन में कैसे परफॉर्म कर पाऊंगी, बिकॉज देयर वाज अ सर्टेन ग्राफ दैट वन सीन वाज वेयर आई एम लुकिंग डम, बट द अदर सीन वाज वेयर आई एम एक्सट्रीमली एंग्री. जो अभी भी आप अगर शो में देखेंगे तो है, जब मैं वो कोर्ट रूम में होती हूँ मैं गुल पनाग जी और उसको बोलती हूँ इट्स अ फुल आउटबर्स्ट. सो दे वांटेड टू सी कि उस टाइम पे फिर वो विकेडनेस उस कैरेक्टर की दिखनी चाहिए, वो है नहीं डम. शी लुक्स डिट्सी बट शी इज नॉट डिट्सी, शी इज वेरी श्रूड. जिसका मेन स्टेज, जिसका मेन वोकेशन ही यही हो कि अमीर आदमियों को फंसा के उनके पैसे लेके भागो, 1-2 साल की शादी हो, तो डम तो नहीं हो सकता ना वो इंसान, कहीं ना कहीं तो श्रूड है वो इंसान. So that they wanted to see that very vicious side in that character, and they were like कि right now the comical side is there, but we need to see if you can play vicious and all. So then I did that other bit, and उसके फिर उन्होंने कहा था उन लोगों ने कि 1 हफ्ते में हम आपको बता देंगे. फिर कॉल वॉल आई नहीं, तो आई कि अरे यार इतना वेस्ट से वेस्ट किया था क्या. बट ऐसा इतनी बार हुआ है ना मेरी लाइफ में, सुपर शॉर्टलिस्ट होके, लुक टेस्ट होके नहीं होना चीज़ों का, कि आई एम वेरी इम्यून टू इट नाउ. तो आई चलो बड़े हो यार. उसके दौरान मेरे को गोवा में ना एक बहुत बड़े वेडिंग होस्ट करने को मिल गई, तो मैं चली गई 3-4 दिन के लिए गोवा वेडिंग होस्ट करने. बहुत ही बड़ा, इट वॉज एन HNI वेडिंग एंड ऑल. एंड आई रिमेंबर कि वो वेडिंग आई वाज स्टेइंग एट द ललित इन गोवा एंड ऑल दैट, एंड आई केम बैक. वो कुछ संगीत फंक्शन था या कौन सा फंक्शन था, मैंने 5-6 मिस्ड कॉल देखी हुई है वहाँ से जिन्होंने मुझे ऑडिशन पे बुलाया था. तो फिर मैंने कहा पता नहीं क्या हो गया. देन आई कॉल्ड, दे वर लाइक मैडम यू रिमेंबर आपने वो ऑडिशन दिया था लास्ट मंथ, मतलब 1 महीना जा चुका था. So I was like, हाँ ऑफ कोर्स आई रिमेंबर यार, डू यू रिमेंबर. सो दे वर लाइक यू आर सिलेक्टेड. सो आई वाज लाइक व्हाट, दिस इज क्रेजी. आई वाज सो हैप्पी. तो फिर मैंने उनका फोन रखा, आई कुडंट कंटेन माय सेल्फ. तो मैं पूरा नॉर्मल कपड़े पहन के मैं उस वेडिंग में एज अ बाराती भी चली गई एंजॉय करने. आई वाज लाइक ऑल नाइट देयर लाइक ईटिंग, डांसिंग. सडनली आई वाज वन ऑफ द गेस्ट्स आल्सो.
So this Good Bad Girl actually दिखा दिया कि आप एक्टिंग भी कर सकती हैं अपार्ट फ्रॉम अपने ग्लैमरस रोल्स.
जी, एक्चुअली फाइनली ना मेरे को मौका दिया गया, बिकॉज in the start क्या है ना कि beggars can't be choosers. I have always felt that whatever you're getting यार, it's about how much of an impact you make. And जो भी मिल रहा है ना आपको, dignity of labor says that you have to give your 100%. और अगर आप शिद्दत से अपना 100% से ऊपर करोगे ना, तो कुछ ना कुछ अच्छा आ जाएगा उस चीज़ से. something good will come out of it, even if not anything to the effect that happened with me, that suddenly you know एकदम से प्रोफाइल वायरल जा रहा है and all, not like that. तो भी कम से कम ये होगा कि आपने एक लर्निंग एक्सपीरियंस का पूरा तो आपने बेनिफिट लिया ना, एटलीस्ट यू जूस्ड आउट द बेस्ट दैट यू कुड. You didn't waste your day on the shift or days on the shift or whatever. So when finally this has happened now, it's given me a good show reel of like 4-5 solid, I think I have about 5 to 8 really solid scenes, and it was very gratifying to see that Sony Live ने खुद मेरे सीन का एक मीम बनाया है Good Bad Girl में, जो उनके मेन पेज पे है, Sony Live के पेज पे. So I feel very good about it now कि यार good, मतलब impact तो बना है, memes वगैरह बन रहे हैं, तो ये बहुत खुशी की बात है.
Definitely. I mean, I'm just आपकी बातें सुन रहा हूँ, आपको देख रहा हूँ, आपके reactions देख रहा हूँ. Wondering आप ना कैसे बोलते हैं? How do you say no?
To some work.
To anything, to life. कुछ proposal आता है that you feel नहीं है, तो how do you say no?
No, then I guess you have to kind of say no to things after a certain point that you reach in life. Like after I started growing my profile and everything, then I was getting a lot of similar roles, and I didn't want to do them. So there was a series of no. You have to kind of then say no. There's a series of no now to going out and being as outgoing as I used to be. There's a series of no. And of course, I mean, the measure of intelligence is this only, that how much can you narrow your focus. You can't say yes to everything. In fact, the higher you grow in your career and in your life, you have to start saying no to majority of the things and saying yes to only a few things.
True.
So yeah.
I'm just wondering, what is your opinion about Me Too movement happens with Habara? What is your opinion on that?
Look, I mean, I'm not sure if in hindsight anything significant came out of it. I'm not too sure what it is on the inside. I have never experienced any sort of a proposition to myself. But I will say that people expect a lot of yes-manship, chamchagiri, right? And if you don't do it, then yeah, there's a price to pay. Suddenly you won't get calls for auditions from them, or which is why, despite having a very good range as an actor, it's taken me time, and it is still a battle because aap chamche nahi ban rahe ho na. You are not doing yes-manship, and I'm sure there's this other uglier aspect also of the industry where they go one step further and they try to violate women. And if they do that, then I don't know how are they kind of not paying a penance for it, and I quite don't know. But it's a whole, I mean, the way I look at the entertainment business is like a power dynamic, whoever is more powerful somehow gets away with whatever, and that's the same in the West also, I believe. It's all about, it's like what you can get away is directly proportionate to your net worth, which is your power and your influence in this industry. Your influence is your net worth. So it's quite sad, and I'm not denying that it must be a very, very prevalent thing. Yes-manship, yeah, it's where chamchagiri to log expect karte hai, ji huzuri, and their ego is endless, yeah. They want their ego balm, like kaam dhanda chhod ke aapka ego thodi balm karte rahenge aap. I also have EMIs to pay, no, I can't be like great, I can't do that, man. I mean, like, if you don't believe in yourself, like, who am I to validate what you are, what you're not? And I don't have the time for it, most importantly, So
how do you see yourself 5 years down the line? 5 साल बाद कैसे देखते हैं अपने आप को?
Hopefully, I look at myself as a mini industry by myself, because I'm very deliberately undertaking everything and executing it single-handedly. This is a conscious decision because I want my ecosystem to grow, and because I know that I can't do all of that, the chamchagiri and yes sir, and फिर वो फिजूल का पार्टियों में बुलाना और उसमें जाना and photo, I just can't stand it. Like, it is never been that if you're successful then I'm going to like you. If I like you, I will like you regardless of, it has nothing to do with your position, which is quite a flaw in this industry, because यहाँ पे अगर आपका ये फंडा सिंपल हो जाए ना कि जो who's हुआ है ना उनके साथ तो बेस्ट फ्रेंड बनना ही है, I think the path becomes much easier for you. But it's just that I can't do it. That's just not who I am. If I like somebody, I like them. I don't like, I can't stand them. I'm not a temperate person, I have like a very black and white way of living life. If I like you, then I'll really like you till the end. If I don't like you, I can't stand you. So I don't know. I mean, for me, it becomes imperative to build my own ecosystem to a level where I'm absolutely autonomous and completely not codependent on anyone. Which is why I'm doubling down on my skill sets also. Like I have started learning a lot about lensing and frames and everything also, because going forward I also want to direct my own videos and everything. Yeah.
Kenisha as director?
For my own music videos only, because it's Jugaad ka naam, right? It's like I want to be a good Jugadu. So that's what I want to do. And 5 years down the line, I see myself as a very successful performing artist who is relevant in the pop culture, has a great discography, and hopefully, has proven her range as an actor also. Somebody who has a great discography behind her name, because my mainstay is going to be music. That's what I set out to be, and it couldn't come to be for a long time. Finally, I have the opportunity, and I want to make a mark in the world of music.
Kenisha, thank you so much for talking to Newstainment.
Thank
Wish
you so
all
much
the
for
best.
having me. Thank you.